because Fergus is getting irritated with that piece of grass. Now, Jania, you're asking an interesting one. How's that, Fergus? A bit more. Yeah? Okay. Jania, you're saying, would Quarantine try and take his territory? Now, there's a prospect. Quarantine, for those of you who don't know, of course, is, how old is he about to be? He must be about to be, he was born 2013, was it? So I think he's 4 now. Might actually be, it couldn't be 2012, surely. Anyway, he's 4 or 5. Haven't seen him for a long time. He is about to become territorial, and he may already be. And, I mean, we know that he has mated already at his young and tender years, a bit of a Mrs. Robinson situation we had on Cheetah Plains. He and Inkanyeni, no spring chicken she is, and they certainly mated. Whether it resulted in a pregnancy or not, I'm not sure. But so he's certainly come into his early adulthood. And so, could he take this territory? Yes, potentially, not yet. This leopard is still too dominant. Quarantine would take him on at his peril. But Quarantine could take his brother's territory, and he seems to be a bit heftier than his brother. Shivambalana is his brother, of course, and Shivambalana lives just to the east of us, sort of Cheetah Plains area and into the Kruger National Park. And I think Quarantine is trying to sandwich himself a piece of territory between Tingana's and between Shivambalana's. Now, Paula, no, I haven't. You say, have I ever seen a leopard share his or her territory? Not with another adult. Now, even leopards who are quite close to each other, and, Shadow and Karula used to see each other fairly regularly, but they used to spit at each other, and they weren't very happy when they saw each other. At Londolozi, there was an interesting situation where a wonderful old leopard called the 3-4 female, who very much reminded me of Karula, she used to hang around pretty close by to one of her daughters, and she actually adopted a cub from one of her daughters once. And so while they didn't share the same territory, they certainly were closer to each other than, say, most or than unrelated leopards are. But no, I mean, to find 2 adult males in a territory would be extremely unusual. I mean, that said, Mvula has survived in this chap's territory, and I think he's survived on the fringes of this chap's territory, and I think he's also managed to find a kind of almost unoccupied wedge of land. That's Mvula I'm talking about. And so while, yes, I suppose technically they shared similar areas, Tingana and Mvula was not marking territory anymore. Do you agree with that, Tingana? Do you think that that is a fairly accurate representation of what's happened? Joanna, you're wondering about my favourite Tingana sighting. I'm trying to think of one now. I've spent a lot of time with this leopard doing exactly what he's doing now, sitting on a termite mound and snoozing. I don't think I've seen him hunt. And I wasn't on it would have been the one that we had on our interview drive with Steve the other day, where Tingana and Hosanna were in the same sighting. That was hilarious. I think, you know what, I had a wonderful sighting once with him. It was just Viam and I and this leopard, and kind of quintessential perfect light, and no one else with us, away from any roads or vehicles or lodges or any infrastructure. And we sat with him for, 2 hours or so, as he walked up and down, climbed on termite mounds, and just looked regal. And I suppose what should I say? I suppose the energy of that sighting was just great for me.